Hey everyone, it's Yaroslav and Philosophy Man YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about cartoon series Rick and Morty. I have few videos on my channel that are devoted to this particular show. But as I recall, they are mostly in Russian, and the only video in English concerns Rick and Morty only partially. It speculates on the cultural image of one of its characters. Rick and Morty is an adult animation that aired on Adult Swim. It is very cynical and eccentric. It tells a story of a mad scientist representative, cultural stereotype of mad scientist representative Rick Sanchez and his grandson Morty Smith, who go on different kinds of adventures across the galaxy and multiverse. Partially, it's a parody, a cynical parody of sci-fi plot schemas, popular culture stereotypes, and even political life of today's USA. And it is not a nice parody like Simpsons or even a plain parody like South Park. Rick and Morty deals with all kinds of violence, sexual abuse, bullying, and incest. As for me, I liked two first seasons of the show, and I recorded one of my first podcasts devoted to this show, theorizing about the connection of Rick and Morty and ethical problematic, and model logic, which uses semantics of possible worlds. However, approximately a year later, I've recorded a video podcast devoted to the topic. I would say Rick and Morty is spoiled. Why? And in this podcast, I argue that the show is not as fresh as it was before, and its usage of breaking the stereotypes and attacking the morality of the society is becoming boring and dull, more than just a fresh provocation. I predicted that in a few seasons it will be something like American Diet, and it mostly happened like I predicted. It is now just another franchise to suck out money from the people, not really art as it was in first two seasons. Though I admired those seasons, I also find some moments in Rick and Morty very disturbing. I recall the one scene from the second or the third season of wasp mutants eating the math teacher. And at that time, when I watched it, I thought, well, it's interesting, but it seems that the people who wrote this script is disturbed. These people needs mental help. South Park is very edgy, but it never crosses the line that Rick and Morty crosses. It's about the violence of violence, the breaking of the not even moral norms, but rather taboo. Taboo is a very strong moral law that is first described by anthropologists and Sigmund Freud. And in primitive cultures, breaking taboo can lead to immediate death. And Rick and Morty is not even just breaking taboo, it's feasting on its breaking those taboos. It makes it routine. And that's just insane. And I'm not exaggerating when I say insane and terms like mental state, mental problems, help with mental health. Actually, breaking taboos and attacking moral norms is not always fresh and mind-reviving provocation. Sometimes it is a symptom of, as I said, mental disease. So why I bring down everything I've said? The news, there is a scandal in the community of animation lovers. animation fans. The creator of the show, one of the main two creators, Justin Roiland, is facing very severe accusations and is probably will be tried for sexual misconduct and violence in his own family. Justin Roiland is at the heart of the franchise. He even voices two main characters, and it seems that it was his initial idea, this animation that will attack everything that we consider to be sacred and human. So where there are keys in the show itself that show that the creator of such a show, the man who wrote all the scripts, all those gigs, is a person who is interesting and smart, but who is in fact sick, mentally sick. From my point of view, yes, it seems that it was so. My latest video on Rick and Morty concerns the comparison of Rick Sanchez and Palpatine from Star Wars. They seem to be different, as Rick is more a popular culture guy who is smart and funny and who is hanging out with younger people who have his interest mostly in young people stuff. And Palpatine is a villain, a typical classical fantasy sci-fi villain. But I say that if we take the image of Palpatine and the metaphor for cynicism and immorality, then we would say that the transition of this character into the universe of Rick and Morty is precisely Rick Sanchez. Both of these characters are very interesting to theorize, but you wouldn't want to meet anyone of these two in your real life. It will end badly and it will not bring anything pleasant. That's actually nothing cool in the person who is a cynical, drunk, and immoral person. So this is just my thoughts on this subject. I hope you liked it. See you. Goodbye.